Hey everyone, and welcome back to Speak More Fluently.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be diving into accent reduction,
Okay.
especially for those of you who are already comfortable with English, but want to kind of, level up their pronunciation.
Right.
And we've got some really practical techniques to share
Yeah.
that can help you fine-tune your speech and really boost your confidence.
Absolutely.
So stick around for this one.
You know, it's really interesting how our native language plays such a huge role in how we speak a new one.
All right.
Even when we've mastered grammar and vocabulary.
Solely.
It's like our tongues almost develop muscle memory
Oh, yeah.
for certain sounds,
It's so true.
Yeah.
I've noticed that even when I think I'm pronouncing things correctly, certain words or phrases just come out differently because of my native language's influence.
Yeah.
It's not about erasing your accent, of course.
Right.
But wouldn't it be great to be able to communicate more clearly and confidently in any situation?
Absolutely. And one of the most effective ways to do that is by simply immersing yourself in the sounds of native English.
Okay.
So think podcasts, TV shows, audiobooks.
Oh, yeah.
They're like a workout for your ears.
Right.
You start to subconsciously pick up those natural rhythms and intonation patterns just by listening.
I completely agree. I've noticed the difference in my own pronunciation after, binge watching a few British TV series.
Totally.
It's fun and effective.
It is.
Speaking of fun, here's a challenge for you.
Okay.
Pick a scene from your favorite movie or show and try mimicking the actor's pronunciation and intonation.
I love that.
It's like an acting exercise for your voice.
And to take it up a notch, try recording yourself and comparing it to the original.
Interesting.
It's amazing how much you can learn by hearing your own voice objectively.
Oh, yeah.
It can be a little cringy at first,
Okay.
but it helps identify areas where you might be unconsciously deviating from native pronunciation.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I recorded myself speaking English. I was so surprised by how different I sounded.
Oh, yeah.
From what I thought I sounded like.
Right.
But that's how we learn, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And building on that self-awareness, one thing that's often overlooked but makes a huge difference is simply slowing down and enunciating.
Right.
Especially if you tend to speak quickly.
Yeah.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
If you rush through your words, they can end up jumbled together, making it harder for others to understand.
Right. Clear speech is like presenting a well-organized argument.
Yeah.
Each point is distinct and easily understood.
I like that analogy.
So slowing down gives your listeners time to process what you're saying, especially when you're still working on fine-tuning those sounds.
And once you've got that down, it's time to tackle those tricky sounds that often trip up non-native speakers.
Right.
For instance, many languages don't have the do sound.
Yeah.
So it can be challenging to get it right in English.
Absolutely. The good news is there are tons of resources available online that can help you identify and practice these problem sounds based on your native language.
Yeah.
It's like having a personalized pronunciation roadmap.
Right.
You can target specific sounds.
Yep.
And work on them until they become second nature.
And don't underestimate the power of technology.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Speech recognition software and accent training apps can be incredibly helpful.
Right.
They provide instant feedback and can track your progress over time.
Oh, definitely. Some of these apps are like having a personal pronunciation coach in your pocket.
Yeah.
They can be really fun and motivating, too.
It's true.
You could even practice on the go.
Exactly.
But while these tools are great, nothing beats real-life conversation practice, right?
You're absolutely right. Talking with native speakers, whether in person or online, is invaluable.
Right.
It helps you apply what you've learned in a natural setting and build fluency in a way that no app can replicate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Places like language exchange groups, online forums, or even just finding a conversation partner are fantastic for this.
It's interesting how even if you're a little nervous about your accent at first, the more you practice speaking with others, the less you'll worry about sounding perfect.
Right.
And the more you'll focus on simply connecting and sharing your ideas.
I've found that to be so true.
Yeah.
People are generally more interested in what you have to say than in your accent.
Exactly.
Plus, a little bit of imperfection can even make you more memorable.
That's true.
And endearing.
Exactly. And sometimes those imperfections become part of your unique charm.
Right.
Now let's move on to another fun technique.
Okay.
tongue twisters.
Tongue twisters.
They might seem silly,
Yeah.
but they're incredibly helpful for targeting specific sounds and improving your articulation. They're like a mini workout for your mouth muscles.
Oh, yeah.
I remember struggling with the R sound for ages.
Oh, really?
And then I discovered this tongue twister, red lorry, yellow lorry. It really helped me loosen up my tongue.
Okay.
And get that rolling R down.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
I've noticed that practicing tongue twisters
not
only improves pronunciation, but also helps with breath control and tongue placement.
Absolutely.
Which are crucial for mastering stress and intonation.
Right.
Speaking of which, let's talk about how stress and intonation add another layer of nuance to spoken English.
Absolutely. English is a stress-timed language, which means we emphasize certain syllables in words and sentences.
Right.
It's like a rhythmic dance.
Interesting.
And getting those stresses right makes your speech sound more natural and fluent.
I used to struggle with this a lot.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started learning English, I would put equal emphasis on every syllable, which made me sound robotic.
Yeah.
Once I learned to stress the right syllables and vary my pitch, my speech became more expressive and engaging.
It's amazing what a difference it makes.
It really is.
For example, try saying the sentence, I went to the store.
Okay.
While stressing different words. Hear how the meaning changes subtly.
Yes, it's like adding punctuation to your spoken words.
Right.
So how can our listeners start getting a better handle on stress and intonation?
Listening to native speakers is key.
Okay.
Pay attention to how they emphasize certain words and phrases.
Right.
You can even try shadowing.
Shadowing.
Listening to a short audio clip and repeating it immediately.
Got it.
Mimicking not just the words, but also the stress and intonation.
That's a great tip.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Record yourself reading a passage from a book or article. And then listen back. Paying attention to your stress and intonation patterns.
Interesting.
Ask yourself, do I sound natural? Am I emphasizing the right words?
Right.
And if you're not sure, don't hesitate to seek feedback from a language partner tutor or even a speech recognition app.
Okay.
It's all about continuous improvement, right?
Exactly. And speaking of improvement. How do we deal with those inevitable moments of frustration that come with language learning?
It's important to remember that everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
It's part of the learning process.
Right.
Instead of getting discouraged, try to view those slip-ups as opportunities to learn and grow.
I like that.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
Your brain is constantly rewiring itself as you learn new things, including pronunciation. It's like building a muscle.
Oh, yeah.
It takes time and effort.
So instead of striving for perfection, should we aim for progress? Celebrating those small wins along the way.
Each correctly pronounced word, each smooth sentence, each successful conversation is a step in the right direction.
Right.
And don't be afraid to celebrate those wins, no matter how small they may seem.
I think it's also helpful to have a support system.
Absolutely.
People who understand the challenges of language learning and can offer encouragement and guidance.
Whether it's a language partner, a tutor, a study group, or even just a friend who's also learning English.
Right.
Having people to practice with and share your journey with can make all the difference.
That's like having a cheerleading squad for your accent reduction journey. They can help you stay motivated. Celebrate your wins and pick you up when you're feeling discouraged.
Right.
Which brings us to the mental side of accent reduction. We've talked a lot about techniques. But what about confidence?
You're right. Confidence plays a huge role in how we communicate.
Regardless of our accent. And one of the best ways to build confidence is to start practicing in low-stress environments.
Oh, you mean like talking with friends or family who are supportive and understanding, even if you make mistakes?
Or try recording yourself reading aloud. The more you practice in comfortable settings, the more confident you'll become when facing more challenging situations.
Right.
Like giving a presentation at work. Or ordering food in a busy restaurant.
I love that idea. It's like a dress rehearsal for real-life conversations.
Exactly.
But even with practice, some situations can still feel intimidating.
Right.
How do you suggest we handle those moments of anxiety?
One thing that helped me was shifting my focus.
Okay.
From how do I sound to what do I want to say?
Interesting.
When you're genuinely passionate about your topic and eager to connect with your audience, the accent becomes less of a barrier.
It's like a saying, people will forget what you said.
But they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Exactly.
If you speak with confidence and enthusiasm, people will be drawn to your message, regardless of your accent.
Right.
But wouldn't you agree that communication involves more than just pronunciation?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
While we've been focusing on accent reduction, it's crucial to remember that effective communication involves a whole toolkit of skills.
Right.
Vocabulary, grammar, listening comprehension, cultural awareness, and even nonverbal cues.
So accent reduction is just one piece of the puzzle?
Precisely.
Albeit an important one.
It's like learning to play a musical instrument.
Okay.
You wouldn't just focus on hitting the right notes.
Yeah.
You'd also need to learn rhythm dynamics and expression.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
So while it's great to work on our pronunciation,
yeah,
we shouldn't neglect those other aspects of communication.
And sometimes focusing too much on the accent can actually hinder our progress in other areas.
Interesting.
It's about finding that balance.
Right.
Working on our pronunciation.
Yeah.
While also expanding our overall language skills.
Right. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you feel confident and expressive in your communication.
Exactly.
Regardless of your accent.
And remember, the ultimate goal is to communicate effectively.
Right.
To connect with others and to share our ideas with the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit of an accent can actually add to the richness and diversity of communication.
For sure.
It makes you stand out. You know?
Absolutely. It's part of what makes us unique and interesting. It tells our story.
Right.
Reflects our background and adds flavor to our speech.
Exactly. Yeah. So instead of trying to erase it completely, we can embrace our accent as part of who we are.
Right.
While still working to refine our pronunciation for clearer communication.
That's such a great perspective.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance between preserving our individuality and striving for clarity.
Yeah. Now, before we wrap up, I want to emphasize something we touched upon earlier.
Right.
The importance of continuous learning.
Right.
Language is constantly evolving. And just like any skill, if we don't keep practicing, we can get rusty.
It's like going to the gym.
Totally.
You don't just work out once and expect to be fit forever.
Exactly.
You have to keep showing up and challenging yourself to maintain and improve your fitness.
The more we expose ourselves to new sounds, new words, new ways of speaking, the more our brains adapt and rewire themselves to accommodate those changes.
So even if we've reached a point where we feel pretty confident with our pronunciation, there's always room for improvement.
Always.
How can we keep those learning muscles flexed?
Well, keep doing what we've talked about. Listening to podcasts, watching movies, and engaging in conversations.
Right.
But also, don't be afraid to branch out and explore different accents and dialects within English.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's like taking your ears on a world tour.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of reading.
Right.
Pick up a novel, a magazine, a newspaper, anything that sparks your interest.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the way the words are written, the rhythm of the sentences, the way the author uses language to paint pictures in your mind.
It's like absorbing good writing through osmosis.
Totally. And surrounding yourself with English as much as possible.
Yeah.
Watch movies with subtitles. Listen to English radio. Even change the language settings on your phone or computer.
Oh, that's a good idea.
The more you immerse yourself,
the
more natural it will become.
For sure.
And of course, never underestimate the power of real-life conversation.
Finding opportunities to talk with native speakers.
Exactly.
Whether it's through a language exchange group, online forums, or just striking up a chat with a friendly stranger.
And remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Right.
That's how we learn and grow.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into accent reduction, we'll leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
While it's great to strive for clear and confident communication, never forget that your voice is unique and beautiful just the way it is.
Your accent is part of your story.
Yeah.
Your heritage, your identity.
Right.
It adds color and richness to the tapestry of human voices.
So embrace your voice, celebrate your progress, and never stop exploring the amazing world of language.
Beautifully said.
Thanks for joining us on Speak More Fluently.
Yes.
And remember, keep practicing.
Yeah.
Keep learning and keep sharing your unique voice with the world.